The purpose of this video is to look at how price lists work in Odoo, meaning how can I assign specific pricing to specific customers. So if customer A purchases this product, I want to sell it to him at a 50% discount, or I want to sell it to him at this fixed price, or at a specific margin. Versus customer B, I may sell it at a totally different rate. Odoo allows you to pre-configure all of those rules in the system so that you do not have users, asking questions or giving customers wrong pricing. Simple as that. All right, let's see how that works. So in Odoo, if I go, you can type in price lists and it'll pull it up. In this demo, I have two. I'm going to create a price list here called, just for example, Nicholas Kaczynski pricing. And you can name it whatever you want. You could have it based off of geographic zones. You could have it based off of different, different customer categories, whatever however you want to organize it and distribute these price lists is up to you. I'm going to do a simple example here, which is to customer name. And then I'm going to go into another further example where I automate the assignation of a price list based off of a geographic zone and show you how you can start to automatically assign price lists to customers based off of certain conditions being met. So here we have Nicholas Kaczynski pricing. I can specify if I want to allocate it to specific countries here. Otherwise, here's where all the actual price lists items go. So I already have one created. What I can do is I can specify I want to apply a rule on all products, global, a specific product category, on a specific product, right, such as plant 1, 2, 3, or 4, or on a product variant, which you could have plant 1 size small, for example, or size medium, or size large. So for this, I'm going to just do product, and I'm going to select plant 1. And now I can say, up here, I can look at, is there a minimum quantity that needs to be met on an order in order for this rule down here, the price computation, to take effect? If I leave it at 0, it will essentially just apply to all of them. If I put it at 5, it will require a minimum quantity on order of 5 on that quote in order for any of this logic down here to take effect. And then, of course, I can also specify start and end dates here, which only limits the application of this particular rule or price list item according to a specific time frame. So I'm going to say minimum quantity of 5 for plant 1, and then I can compute a price. I can say it's based off a fixed amount, where I maybe, the list price for this plant here is $125. So if I have a fixed amount, I can say, maybe 100. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to say a 50% discount. Or I could say a formula, which you can base off a public price, a cost price, or another price list. And then here I can get into the new price is computed based off of a price discount, getting into min and max margins, rounding methods, so on and so forth. But we're just going to do a discount of 50% and save it. Now, and you can have as many of these rules as you want all the way down the list per price list. So I've created one price list with one simple item for one product. Now, what I do to assign these price lists is I go to contacts, and you can do it in two ways. On the contact record, if I pull this up, you'll see that there's a little field here called price list, where I can then go and assign the price list to this customer. So what does that mean? It means every time I go and create an order for this customer, if you watch the price list field here, just select the customer, it automatically pulls the customer's price list. And as I add products, you'll see plant 1 was 125. Now here it is, in this example, 125. Why? Because we have to meet the minimum quantity of 5 before the unit price dumps 50%, which in this case would be $62.50. If I order 4, the min quantity would not have been met, and it would still stick us at 125. So if I just place that order for 5, there it is. You see how that works? Great. You can also go in and change a price list manually here, which if I change the price list and I type in plant number 1 and I go to 5 items, it's not going to change this any longer because this rule is not engineered into this price list. So price lists can be imported in mass. You don't have to go through and manually configure each item like that. All these price lists that I showed you can be brought in, and you'll see right here, via an import. So one fellow swoop, and you can bring in all your customers' pricing in one go. Now, taking it a step further, how to automate pricing based off of a geographic zone. Let's go back to our friend Nicholas Kaczynski here, and let's remove the price list there. So now it will just pull up. Actually, I would have to assign the public. That's the public price list. Is just it means it's standard. So with that, let's say I'm just going to take a silly condition here, but let's say any customers that are part of a certain zip code, or I'm going to take a city, for example. Any customers part of the city of Brooklyn, I want to automatically assign, and I'm going to change the name of this price list for the example to Brooklyn pricing. Now, any customers that have a city listed as Brooklyn, I want them to automatically be assigned Brooklyn pricing, right? And you get the idea conceptually. This is just a simple example I'm using for this demonstration. But to do that, we're going to use what's called an automated action. So I'm going to go to the contact record. Any contact record will suffice for the configuration. Studio automations. I'm going to create a new automation. I'm going to say update price list. Or better yet, let's say assign price list. It's going to take place on the contact record, and the trigger condition will be on a creation and update. And what I want to do is I want to look at all my contacts, and then from all those contacts, I want to apply a new rule on specific contacts. And I want to isolate the contacts which have a city that contains Brooklyn. And you'll see I have one record which meets the criteria today. Of course, it's that record from earlier. And the action to do is I'm going to update this record. So all contacts which have a city equal to Brooklyn, take an action. That's what I'm telling Odoo. Update the record. And I want to update the field for price list. And what I want to do is reference an existing price list field and assign Brooklyn pricing. Very simple. This is a point and click, a code. This is called a codeless automation, right? Back in the day, this would require Python code and etc. But Odoo's found a way to make it very user-friendly to introduce all these automations and workflows. And we can close it out. So now you will see if I create a contact, we'll call this John Doe, and I assign the city to Manhattan, if I can spell right, and save it, the price list will be public. And if I create another one called John Davis, and I assign the city to Brooklyn and save it, the pricing is equal to Brooklyn pricing. So you can introduce all sorts of automations here. We could use Odoo Studio to have a selection field here, and we could say zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, zone 4, confirm it, and I can take it a level deeper. I can change this to geographic zone. That'll update the field on the contact record. And I can go to automations here, and I can say, for example, assign zone. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply all records in Brooklyn, update record, and I'm going to update our new field geographic zone. So all people in Brooklyn, we're going to reference an existing zone, in this case, I would actually remove this and redo it. And I'm going to reference an existing zone, or actually I would select a value of a zone. I would just say zone 1 and save it. So now anyone in Brooklyn would be assigned to zone 1. And then what I can do is I'll just duplicate this automated action. And I'll also say, so any records from my contact database where geographic zone equals zone 1, and I'll be able to choose any of the existing zones I have. So anyone in zone 1, update the record and update the price list. And actually I want to remove this. Update the price list, pull from, I'm trying to move fast, sorry for all the clicks. update the price list to Brooklyn pricing. Close out. And what we'll do now is we'll go back to our contact record, actually, and we'll say Fabienne, and we're going to give Fabienne Brooklyn, save it. Zone 1 automatically populates, and so does Brooklyn pricing. Whereas if I create a new record and say just John and city is Manhattan, nothing will happen because there's no rule, no geographic zone, and the price list is public. So that's, again, a very simple, straightforward way to show you how you can automate things in Odoo. This is just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, there's not a lot of other solutions, I can't name one, that allows for this level of flexibility and customizability without having to write any code. So if you have any questions or if you want me to go deeper into the weeds on this, just let me know. I'm happy to address. Thanks so much and have a great day.